Alexander was a famous architect. His office was sleek and modern, full of sharp lines and big ideas. He was serious, always focused on his designs. People at work called him Mr. Perfect. Then Eleonora joined his team. She was young, fresh out of school, and full of bright, new ideas. Her eyes sparkled when she talked about buildings, and she wasn't afraid to ask questions. She was just an intern, but she had a fire in her. Alexander usually kept his distance from new people, but Eleonora was different. She worked hard, stayed late, and always had a clever thought. Alexander found himself looking forward to her ideas, even her messy sketches. He started staying late too, just to talk about designs with her. Slowly, something changed. Their talks weren't just about buildings anymore. They talked about their lives, their dreams, even their favorite foods. Alexander found himself smiling more. Eleonora felt a warmth she'd never known. They both felt a pull, a quiet understanding that went deeper than boss and intern. But there was a big problem. The company had a strict rule. No dating between bosses and employees. It was written clearly in the company handbook. It was a rule meant to keep things fair and professional. Breaking it could mean losing their jobs, especially for Alexander, who was a senior partner. Eleonora's career, which was just starting, could be ruined before it even began. Every day was a secret dance. They would catch each other's eyes across the meeting room, a silent message passing between them. They would find excuses to work alone together, the air thick with unspoken feelings. A brush of hands over a blueprint, a shared laugh that lasted too long. These small moments felt huge and dangerous. One night, they were the last ones in the office, finishing a big project. The city lights twinkled outside. "Eleonora," he said softly, his voice a little shaky. This isn't just work, is it?" Eleonora looked up, her heart pounding. She knew exactly what he meant. "No," she whispered. "It's not." It was a moment of truth. They both knew they couldn't pretend anymore. But what could they do? The rule hung over them like a dark cloud. They talked for hours. They loved their jobs, their careers. But they loved this new feeling, this connection, even more. It was a love that felt right, even if it was forbidden. "I can't risk your future here," Alexander finally said, his voice heavy. "And I can't live without this." He gestured between them. Eleonora nodded, tears in her eyes. "Me neither." The next day, Eleonora made a brave choice. She went to Alexander's office not as an intern, but as someone making a decision for her heart. She told him she would leave the firm. It was a huge sacrifice. This was her dream job, her first step into the world of architecture. But she knew she couldn't stay and hide her feelings, or put Alexander's career at risk. Alexander was shocked, then deeply moved. He knew what she was giving up. He made a sacrifice too. He used his connections, quietly, to help Eleonora find a new, smaller firm in another city, where she could grow and be herself. He also started thinking about his own future, about maybe starting his own, smaller practice, where rules wouldn't stand in the way of true connection. It was hard. They spent months apart, building their new lives. But they called every night, their love growing stronger across the miles. Eleonora learned so much, not just about architecture, but about courage. Alexander learned that love was more important than any perfect blueprint. Eventually, Eleonora came back to the city. Not as Alexander's intern, but as his partner. Not just in life, but in a small, new architecture studio they started together. It was modest, but it was theirs, built on honesty, passion, and the brave sacrifices they made for a love that refused to be confined by any rulebook. Their designs were beautiful, but their love story was their true masterpiece.